Hello guys, good evening. Can you listen to me?
Yes, teacher. Good evening.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much. Pretty good. So, well, guys, I'm going to wait maybe for 2 more minutes or 3 more minutes for the other people to get connected, and then we are going to start with the exercises for tonight, okay? So just wait 2 more minutes, and then we start. Thank you, guys. Okay, guys, well, I was waiting for the other people to get connected because we are supposed to have like a group, a big group of about 30 students, but well, let's start with the information for tonight's class. So guys, welcome to tonight's class. Today is September 6th. And according to the normal process, remember that we are recording our class in order to have the evidence, but also to have the possibility in the platform of the recording of this session. Tonight, so we are going to continue revising and working on the material we have available in the platform. And because you are starting this week with the unit 1.2, so tonight we are going to revise in general the tenses that we have in English. We are also going to see if grammar is important in English too. And we are going to emphasize on the grammar of the first conditional with some examples and exercises on that. That's what we are going to have for tonight's class. By the end, we are also going to have a space for you to clarify the questions that you have, for revising also if you have questions about the collaborative project, and that's all that we are going to do. So, well, guys, let's start. I'm going to try to speak English during the whole class because this is obviously an English class. But if you need me and if you want me something to explain something in Spanish, just let me know, okay? You just tell me, teacher, would you say it again in Spanish? Or can you explain it to me in Spanish and I can help you with that? The idea is simply to understand all of the topics, okay? So, let's start and, well, I'm going to switch. Vamos a hacer siempre como un intercambio normal de español a inglés, de forma que pues obviamente sea la información clara para todos también en todos los momentos. We are going to watch a video in which they are talking about the different tenses we have in English. We normally think that we have in English, we normally think that we have like present, past, and future, but we are going to check the differences because we have some categories also in English. The present is divided into some tenses as well as the past and maybe the future. Taking into account that, we have the possibility also to express different ideas in English. And that's why it is an important video, because the idea is that you understand the ways we use the different tenses and also the situations that are specific for each one of the tenses that we have in English. I want you guys to check this video. Let me see something. I'm going to use the subtitles in English for you. There's information here because this video, they speak very fast. So the idea is that you can understand. And then we are going to talk about maybe the video that we have, okay? I want you guys, please, to confirm if you can listen to the audio of the video. Can you guys listen to the audio?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Yes, teacher.
Excellent, thank you so much. Pretty good. So let's watch it out. Let's observe. Let's try to understand the different tenses we have and their uses. Let's see.
Grammatical tense is how languages talk about time without explicitly naming time periods, by instead modifying verbs to specify when action occurs. So how many different tenses are there in a language like English? At first, the answer seems obvious. There's past, present, and future. But thanks to something called grammatical aspect, each of those time periods actually divides further. There are 4 kinds of aspect. In the continuous or progressive aspect, the actions are still happening at the time of reference. The perfect aspect describes actions that are finished. The perfect progressive aspect is a combination, describing a completed part of a continuous action. And finally, there's the simple aspect, the basic form of the past, present, and future tense, where an action is not specified as continuous or discrete. That's all a little hard to follow, so let's see how it works in action. Let's say your friends tell you they went on a secret naval mission to collect evidence of a mysterious sea creature. The tense sets the overall frame of reference in the past, but within that, there are many options. Your friends might say a creature attacked their boat. That's the past simple, the most general aspect, which gives no further clarification. They were sleeping when it happened, a continuous process underway at that point. They might also tell you they had departed from Nantucket to describe an action completed even earlier. That's an example of the past perfect. Or that they had been sailing for 3 weeks, something that was ongoing up until that point. In the present, they tell you that they still search for the creature today, their present simple activity. Perhaps they are preparing for their next mission, continuously as they speak. And they have built a special submarine for it, a completed achievement. Plus, if they have been researching possible sightings of the creature, it's something they've been doing for a while and are still doing now, making it present perfect progressive. So what does this next mission hold? You know it still hasn't happened because they will depart next week, the future simple. Your friends will be searching for the elusive creature, an extended continuous undertaking. They tell you the submarine will have reached uncharted depths a month from now. That's a confident prediction about what will be achieved by a specific point in the future, a point at which they will have been voyaging for 3 weeks in the future perfect progressive. The key insight to all these different tenses is that each sentence takes place in a specific moment.
I want you to take a look to the idea that is presented over here. Notice that the key, the clue, la clave, la seña, como la idea aquí, is that each sentence takes place in a specific moment. So when talking about the different grammar tenses and the conjugation of verbs that we have over here, we need to observe and emphasize on the tense we are trying to talk about. If we are giving a specific idea of the present or the past or the future, and if we are talking about a specific moment inside the present, inside the past, and inside the future. Let's continue by watching the other part over here.
Whether it's past, present, or future. The point of aspects is that they tell you, as of that moment, the status of the action. In total, they give us 12 possibilities in English.
Let's observe the 12 possibilities in English that we have to conjugate the different verbs. We have the past, the present, and the future, which are the ones that we normally know, but they are divided into some categories. We have the perfect tenses, the progressive or continuous tenses, and the perfect progressive ones. Let's observe why we say as teachers that it is kind of difficult, obviously not impossible, but sometimes it is a little bit difficult to have a proper translation. And it happens simply because sometimes we look for a word from Spanish to English, literal words, and that's sometimes difficult to have a proper translation. So we have simply to express ideas that are happening in specific moments of the time. Let's observe.
What about other languages? Some, like French, Swahili, and Russian, take a similar approach to English. Others describe and divide time differently. Some have fewer grammatical tenses, like Japanese, which only distinguishes past from non-past. Buli and Tukangbesi, which only distinguish future from non-future. And Mandarin Chinese, with no verb tenses at all, only aspect. On the other hand, languages like Yagua split past tense into multiple degrees, like whether something happened hours, weeks, or years ago. In others, tenses are intertwined with moods that convey urgency, necessity, or probability of events. This makes translation difficult, but not impossible. Speakers of most languages without certain tenses can express the same ideas with auxiliary words like would or did, or by specifying the time they mean. Are the variations from language to language just different ways of describing the same fundamental reality? Or do their diverse structures reflect different ways of thinking about the world, and even time itself? And if so, what other ways of conceiving time may be out there? TED-Ed is a nonprofit. If you value our work, please consider supporting it.
Well, let's see. So what I just wanted you to observe over here and maybe to check is the quantity of different tenses and different ways we have to socialize, to conjugate verbs, and obviously to make different or to express different ideas that we have. I want to ask you something, guys. That's just a question that I would like you to answer in Spanish or in English, the way you decide and the way you want. For example, I just want you to tell me, do you consider, dear students, that grammar is important in a language? Is grammar important in a language? What do you think? It is important having a proper grammar to communicate? Do you think it is important? What do you think, guys?
Yes, teacher, the grammar is important to communicate between us.
Okay, all right. So it's important because we have a proper communication. Thank you, Mr. Pretty good. Another one, it was Pablo, right? Yes, I think it was Pablo's participation. Well, another idea, do you think, guys, that grammar is important when having a communication in a language?
Profe, la gramática es importante porque nos permite escribir bien, o sea, adecuadamente las palabras, pues en este caso de otro idioma.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Miss. Excellent. Yes, Beatriz. So we have a proper grammar in order to communicate effectively with other people. That's good. Thank you. Any other ideas, students, that you have about a proper grammar? Okay, no problem. So let's see. Yes, me obviously as a teacher, I defend having a proper grammar, having a proper order of words, a word order. Obviously the use of each one of the parts of the speech, cada una de las partes del discurso. Beatriz, tell me.
No, profe, es que iba a comentar también que, por ejemplo, en el caso de las palabras en español, que las diferencian, por ejemplo, una letra, ¿sí? Por ejemplo, siervo con S, siervo con C, son palabras totalmente diferentes, palabras homófonas. Entonces, pienso que en el caso del inglés también sucede lo mismo, entonces para eso también es importante la gramática.
Ok, excelente, Beatriz, muchas gracias, claro que sí. Similar to what Beatriz is telling us, so it is an important part of the communicative situation that we have because we can make ourselves understand. So if you talk to another person and you have a proper word order to express your ideas, the other person is going to understand clearly your message. And we avoid having misconceptions. Se evita también tener una mala interpretación de los mensajes. Very good. Claro, hay personas que dicen, no, pero pues obviamente si yo voy a otro país donde hablan inglés y me hago entender, obvio, claro, también digamos que esas son habilidades que tenemos, hacernos entender, pero seguramente si tenemos un inglés más elegante o algún idioma más elegante, con un léxico apropiado para cada una de las situaciones, pues seguramente va a ser un poco más ordenada la situación que vamos a tener y seguramente también la posibilidad de tener una comunicación en diferentes ambientes. And that's the same to Spanish, right? So when having a conversation in Spanish or in English with a friend, with a family member, like a normal situation with somebody, you know, you can express very like normal. But when having a conversation that is more elegant or requires more effort and more organization of the speech, so that's when you need to organize and to think about the words that you are going to use, using a proper vocabulary, but also using the correct order to express your ideas. So let's observe maybe just simply to speak. Estas son como simple ideas, de pronto como excusas que tenemos acá como para hablar un poco. So simply excuses that I would like you to take into account. Let me show you another one. With these videos, I want you to check the grammar. I want you to check the vocabulary that is presented, just to have more words to use in our language. So let me see, I don't want a Spanish over here. I want the subtitles in English to observe this part. So we are having a situation. This is a study and this is a report, a research of what they are studying over here. And they are talking about the importance of having grammar in our communicative situations. Disculpen, me vuelvo y comparto aquí la pantalla para que nos incluya la parte de abajo también. So just give me a second, please. Sonido y pantalla. Okay, so just give me a second right there. Okay, so as I already asked you, so I just simply want you to tell me once again, please, if you can listen to the audio of the video. Let's see. Let's see. No creo que lo pase.
You're telling a friend an amazing story.
Okay, can you listen to the audio?
Yes, teacher.
Thank you.
Yes.
Very good. All right, thank you. Thank you so much. So let's move it back here.
You're telling a friend an amazing story, and you just get to the best part when suddenly he interrupts. The alien and I, not me and the alien. Most of us would probably be annoyed. But aside from the rude interruption, does your friend have a point? Was your sentence actually grammatically incorrect? And if he still understood it, why does it even matter? From the point of view of linguistics, grammar is a set of patterns for how words are put together to form phrases or clauses, whether spoken or in writing. Different languages have different patterns. In English, the subject normally comes first, followed by the verb and then the object, while in Japanese and many other languages, the order is subject, object, verb. Some scholars have tried to identify patterns common to all languages, but apart from some basic features, like having nouns or verbs, few of these so-called linguistic universals have been found. And while any language needs consistent patterns to function, the study of these patterns opens up an ongoing debate between two positions known as prescriptivism and descriptivism. Grossly simplified, prescriptivists think a given language should follow consistent rules, while descriptivists see variation and adaptation as a natural and necessary part of language. For much of history, the vast majority of language was spoken. But as people became more interconnected and writing gained importance, written language was standardized to allow broader communication. And
Okay, notice that they are talking that at the beginning of our communicative process, human beings communicated mostly in an oral way, or spoken English, or spoken language. Right now, after some years passed, their written communication became also important, and they have to standardize a way to communicate. When having a standardized language or signs to get a proper communication, that's why people started to think about and to organize the sentences in a proper way.
Sure that people in different parts of a realm could understand each other. In many languages, this standard form came to be considered the only proper one, despite being derived from just one of many spoken varieties, usually that of the people in power. Language purists worked to establish and propagate this standard by detailing a set of rules that reflected the established grammar of their times. And rules for written grammar were applied to spoken language as well. Speech patterns that deviated from the written rules were considered corruptions or signs of low social status, and many people who had grown up speaking in these ways were forced to adopt the standardized form. More recently, however, linguists have understood that speech is a separate phenomenon from writing, with its own regularities and patterns. Most of us learn to speak at such an early age that we don't even remember it. We form our spoken repertoire through unconscious habits, not memorized rules. And because speech also uses mood and intonation for meaning, its structure is often more flexible, adapting to the needs of speakers and listeners. This could mean avoiding complex clauses that are hard to parse in real time, making changes to avoid awkward pronunciation, or removing sounds to make speech faster. The linguistic approach that tries to understand and map such differences without dictating correct ones is known as descriptivism. Rather than deciding how language should be used, it describes how people actually use it and tracks the innovations they come up with in the process. But while the debate between prescriptivism and descriptivism continues, the two are not mutually exclusive. At its best, prescriptivism is useful for informing people about the most common established patterns at a given point in time. This is important not only for formal contexts, but it also makes communication easier between non-native speakers from different backgrounds. Descriptivism, on the other hand, gives us insight into how our minds work and the instinctive ways in which we structure our view of the world. Ultimately, grammar is best thought of as a set of linguistic habits that are constantly being negotiated and reinvented by the entire group of language users. Like language itself, it's a wonderful and complex fabric woven through the contributions of speakers and listeners, writers and readers, prescriptivists and descriptivists from both near and far.
Un concepto con el que deberían estar familiarizadas. A eso los japoneses le llaman unagi.
¿Eso no es como el sushi? Sí, claro, es una anguila de agua dulce.
Qué bien que las ataquen. Ya no me
Okay.
interesa.
I was trying to stop the ads over there, but there was no possibility. Okay, good. So let's see. As we have discussed previously, the idea of having this order, we are not going to emphasize on the difference between descriptivism and the other one because we are not studying those theories. But what I just simply want you to think about and to recognize is that when having this kind of situations, when having the possibility to communicate, to express ideas, intonation, the mood, the way you use your body, yes, like the corporal expression or the body expression you have over there is a proper one also to make the other people understand your message, your real message, and to avoid misconceptions and people understanding different ideas from the original ones that you would like to communicate. So, taking into account this information, and because I know that you are in English 3, you are supposed to have studied different tenses with the grammar exercises that we have done during English 1 and 2. And because you are going to have, remember, an exam, an oral evaluation on the project. So my invitation with this information that we have studied is revising the proper grammar, revising your own ideas, avoiding translation, because that may be not so very good, and simply trying to express a message with the ideas that you have, expressing the real context and the real situation that is going on, and also preparing your speech, preparando el discurso, preparing your speech to speak with a proper intonation, with a proper expression also in your face, to be natural when reading and or when expressing something that you have in the project. Okay, so I just wanted to start with this very part to make conscious about the possibilities we have to express ideas and not using translation always, because that's not very good, because the literal translation does not exist, and because maybe sometimes with the translators, our ideas are going to change a lot. And the original idea that we have is not going to be like socialized and shared with the other people in a proper way, okay? So let us emphasize and let us focus on the grammar that we had for this week. When checking the messages that I sent this morning, I told you to verify, to start working on the unit 1.2, to verify also the messages, the situations that you have there. And what you could see, if you already look for the information, is that in this unit 1.2, we are going to talk about conditional type 1. Similar to Spanish, when we have conditions, we are going to use two parts in that condition or in that situation. First of all, we are going to have one part, which is the condition. And we express the condition by using the word if. So if you do this, there is going to be a result. If you avoid this, there is going to be also a consequence. So remember that for conditional situations, we have two parts. The first, which is the condition, and the second situation, which is the result or the consequence. And that's what we have over here. Notice the conditional type 1 is used to talk about situations that have a real possibility of happening in the future. So we use the conditional type 1 or the first conditional to talk about possible situations to happen, possibilities. When you say possibility, is that you don't manage the situation to happen, but it can be a proper result of that. Notice over here, we have two parts. The if clause, which is the condition, and notice that we are going to conjugate the verb in simple present tense. This is the reason why I started to show you the video of the tenses and the video of the grammar, Because for those and these specific cases, we need a proper grammar in order to have a clear idea, in this case, of the conditions. So the if clause is going to be conjugated in present simple. And then we have another part, which is the main clause or the result and the consequence of that condition. And this is generally conjugated in future with will. Let's take a look to some of the examples that are provided over here in the platform. This is the ebook of the week and the unit 1.2. So let's observe. What will you do if you have problems with the English language? And let's observe the answer. I will practice with my classmates at the school. We have a question. And the question is about the condition. What if this happens? So what will you do if you have? You have is the verb conjugated in present simple. And then the answer, I will practice. So we have will plus the verb in infinitive. It means that we are going to use in the result will and the verb in infinitive to express the consequence of that situation. Let's observe here in the ebook the explanation and the grammar again with the two parts. I repeat, the condition is conjugated, in present simple tense. Normally, sometimes, remember that in English there are exceptions, but sometimes we can also have the if condition in present continuous. Maybe it is not very normal or very common, but it can happen, okay? So just to make the exception here. But normally we conjugate the present simple in the condition. So if you call me, if you have time, if you don't stop jumping, if you know the truth, if she doesn't study. Notice that you have the verbs in present simple. Call, have time, don't stop. Remember that in English, we use in negative sentences for the present simple two auxiliaries. The auxiliary don't and doesn't. In this case, because the subject pronoun is you, the auxiliary that corresponds to this subject pronoun is don't. And you know the truth, she doesn't study. Doesn't is the auxiliary that we use for the subject pronouns he, she, and it. Now, observing on the other part, the result or the consequence of that part, we have different possible words to use. We can use these modal verbs, will, should, could, can, must, and might. These are situations that we can also find. Maybe they are not very common or not very useful. Well, not useful, not very, yes, used by people, but they exist. Example, if you call me, I will be so happy. If you have time, you should call me. If you don't stop jumping, you can break that glass. If you know the truth, you must tell me. If she doesn't study, she might be expelled from the school. So check, you can say, I will be happy, you will call me, you will break the glass, you will tell me, you will be expelled. All of these possibilities are correct, okay? So, taking into account these situations, and because I want you to talk to me, well, let me see. My invitation, obviously over here, is to revise the situations that you have, because this is the part that you have to do at home. So if you scream, I will kill you. If you love me, I'll marry you, and so on. Okay, so this is just the invitation I had for you. So let's observe in the video class something that I normally tell my students to verify. So let's observe the grammar that is presented over here and the examples that we are also going to use in the class. Similarly to the other two videos that we have watched tonight, tell me if you listen to the audio of the video. Let's say it. Do you listen to the audio, guys?
Yes, teacher.
Okay,
Yes,
thank
yes.
you.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Pretty good. Just to confirm. Let's see.
Hi guys, welcome to this video class. My name is Nicole, and today's lesson is going to be about the conditional type 1. Let's start with an example. If you go to the movies, I will go with you. How can we use this conditional? Conditional type 1 is used to talk about real situations that are possible to happen. The action will only happen if the condition is fulfilled. If you are late again, I will lock the door. How do we form the conditional type 1? Let's check the example again to study its structure. The condition is a possible situation. If you are late again, the result is possible depending on the condition. I will lock the door. The condition is introduced by the word if, and it is followed by the present simple tense of the verb. In this case, are. In the result clause, we use the verb in the future simple form. In this example, will lock. Also, we can express the result clause by using the modal verb can. For example, if my mom works this afternoon, I can study with you. Let's study the conditional type 1 negative sentences. If I don't hurry, I will miss the bus. In this example, the if clause is followed by the auxiliary do in negative form and the verb hurry, don't hurry. The result clause is expressed in future simple, will miss. Check this example with negative structure. If it rains this afternoon, I won't go to the barbecue. In this example, the if clause is in present simple affirmative, it rains. The result clause is in future simple negative, won't go.
Let's check here because we already revised the negative in the if condition. And I told you that the negative is don't and doesn't, but now we can also have the negative in the result, such as the example here. And the negative one of will is won't or will not. You can also use that. But the most common one is probably won't and the verb in infinitive. That's what you have here. If it rains this afternoon, I won't go to the barbecue.
Position of clauses. We can change the position of the information in the conditional sentences. It means we can mention the result first. Then we express the condition. The meaning doesn't change when changing the positions. Basically, the difference is in the punctuation mark. Now let's sum up what we have studied. The conditional type 1 is used to talk about real situations that are possible to happen. We use the present tense in the condition, if clause. We use the future simple or modal verb can for the result. What about a short but challenging practice moment? Read the conversation and complete it by using the verbs in the parentheses.
Okay, so let's have some practice now, right? In order to verify, in order to check if you are understanding the situations that we have over here. So there is going to be a conversation presented here, and we have to complete the conversation by using the verbs that we have in parentheses, in brackets. So let's verify, first of all, the conversation here, and let's try to verify if we can complete the conversation. Let's see.
I can't wait to travel on holidays with you. Yes, me too. I haven't finished packing my bag. If it be cold there, I will take an extra coat and a blanket with me. I think it is a hot weather place, isn't it? Well, if it is sunny and hot, I need to take sunscreen and shorts with me. I packed a swimming suit. I pack a swimming suit if Charlie say there is a pool in the hotel. I call him if you want.
Okay, let's see. Vamos a hacer entonces lo siguiente. Because the idea is simply to participate, to verify the information we have, and to try, simply to try to clarify the questions. If there is a question, about the exercises. So I'm going to give you some minutes. Yes, I want you simply to revise and revising the attendance over here just to, well, to ask you to help me with the conversation and so on. So I'm sorry to share the screen just with this. Just a minute and I tell you what we are going to do. So the idea is that I'm going to give you some minutes to observe the conversation that you have here and to think about the proper answers you consider will be the correct ones to complete the conversation. After maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes for you to revise, we are going to select 2 people, which are going to be Mary and Sarah. And the idea is to act the dialogue out. Vamos a tratar como de hacerlo con la entonación, de actuar esas situaciones de diálogo. And we have to complete with the proper conjugation, okay? So don't worry if the answers are not correct, because that's why we are here, simply to revise and to learn and to have some practice on that, okay? So guys, 2 minutes for you to revise the conversation and the possible answers, okay? And we socialize now. Please go ahead with the exercise. Is it clear to you guys what you have to do?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, thank you. Pretty good. I appreciate that. So go ahead with the exercise. And now we socialize. Okay, 1 more minute. If you need more time, just tell me, okay? If you haven't finished, tell me, teacher, we haven't finished, or give us more time for me to know, okay? So feel free to tell. Okay. So are you ready, guys, with the answers, or you need more time? You finish or no yet? ¿Terminamos, chicos, o necesitamos un poco más de tiempo para revisar? Are you guys listening to me? Okay, 2 minutos, all right. Just maybe use the microphones because I don't have the access. Cuando comparto pantalla, pues obviamente no puedo ingresar aquí. Listo, no problem. 2 more minutes. Go ahead, no problem. Remember, this is just a practice, okay? So don't worry if the sentences are incorrect. The idea is to check and to have the practice on that, okay? So don't worry. Ok, intentemos y revisemos, ¿listo? Como les decía, pues la idea es que obviamente simplemente podamos revisar si hay problemas, si hay dudas, pues para eso es que estamos precisamente, para poder corregir, ¿ok? So don't worry if the answers are not correct. I just want to verify if you understand the grammar of the present in the if condition and the future in the result. Let's see. Vamos a tener por aquí 2 actrices, Mary and Sarah. Como les indicaba hace un rato, con lo que vimos, con el video, la entonación. La idea es simplemente tener esta práctica y pues poder obviamente mejorar la pronunciación de algunas palabras, de aclarar, de compartir, de ayudarnos, ¿listo? Entonces, miremos para acá que nos ayuden con micrófono, porfa. Let's see, Beatriz, tú vas a ser Mary, la primera persona aquí en la conversación. Entonces, Beatriz es Mary y Cherilyn Angarita, tú vas a ser Sara. Listo, muchas gracias. Listo, entonces Beatriz is going to be Mary and Cherilyn, you are going to be Sara. Listo, no se preocupen, revisemos y ya confirmamos si las respuestas están correctas. Listo, entonces go ahead. Light, camera, action, Beatriz.
Estoy en pijama. Pero
No.
voy a prender la cámara.
Ah, no te preocupes, así sí, no hay problema, ¿listo? No hay problema.
Bueno, ya la prendí, ya que.
Excellent. I appreciate that. Very good.
I can't wait to travel on holidays with you.
Yes, me too. I haven't finished my bag. If it is cold, there, I will take an extra coat and a blanket with me. ¿Me escuchan?
Ahora sí. Sí, Shailene, sí. Sigue Beatriz.
¿No continúa Sara, profe?
Ah, sí, Sara.
Ay, sí, no me había fijado.
Estamos
Listo.
igual.
I think it's a hot weather place, isn't it?
Well, if it's in sunny and hot, I need to take sunscreen and shorts with me.
I packed a swimming suit.
I pack a swimming suit if Charlie say there is a pool in the hotel.
I will call him if you want.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, my dear actresses. Very good, yes. Let's confirm. I appreciate the reading exercise that you have and obviously the intonation that you have in that one. Let me see. Es que acá se me... Allá. Ok. Voy a
Let's check the answer.
silenciar aquí para que revisemos precisamente las respuestas y confirmemos el porqué de cada una. ¿Listo? Entonces allí cada uno simplemente tiene también la posibilidad de verificar si está bien. Acá tenemos una condición. So we have the condition. If we have the if word, we need to conjugate the verb to be in present simple. And this is correct with is because the subject pronoun is it. So in this first part, you were correct, girls. Very good. Next, you have if it is sunny and hot. Let me stop it here. If it is sunny and hot. Entonces ya tenemos la condición. We already have the condition. Then we need the result. And remember that the result is in future with will and the verb in infinitive. So the correct one is I will need to take sunscreen and etc. Okay? Good. Next part. Y acá debemos revisar esta parte. Porque acá miren que podemos tener cualquier orden. Recuerden que la palabra if, la condición, puede ir al comienzo de la oración o en la mitad. Y es lo que ocurre acá. Acá tenemos la condición en la mitad. We have the condition in the middle. So, here in the middle, we need the present simple. It means, esto quiere decir que al comienzo necesitamos el futuro. Acá es como si fuera matemáticas que el orden de los factores no altera el producto en estas situaciones, ¿no? Simplemente debemos seguir, obviamente, la gramática. Si tenemos la palabra if, la condición acá, pues el verbo en presente simple iría allí en la condición y por ende, el resultado de esa situación iría en futuro. That's why we have here, I will pack a swimming suit if Charlie says there is a pool in the hotel. And to finish, which is also correct for your conversation, girls, I will call him if you want, okay? So pretty good, easy, yes? I want to know, para los demás, quienes estaban también haciendo el ejercicio, ¿estaban bien las respuestas? Were the answers correct or you have difficulties with the exercise? Can you tell me? ¿Cómo les fue con ese ejercicio a los demás que nos estaban también allí, pues que estaban haciendo el ejercicio? Mazo. Ok, Miguel, ¿por qué? ¿Cómo te fue? Dime en qué preguntas tuviste de pronto dificultad. Ok, bueno, recuerden, esta es una recomendación especial, como si podemos la siguiente sesión pues tener micrófono mucho mejor. ¿Te enredaste en las de Will? Ok, hay que verificar, ¿no? En qué parte nosotros tenemos precisamente esa condición para saber que la siguiente pues es una oración con futuro, ¿no? Con will y going to, perdón, y el verbo en infinitivo, ¿listo? Ok, bueno, Miguel dice que por aquí se enredó un poco con esas. Listo, Miguel, perfecto, muchas gracias. No sé los demás, ¿cómo les fue con este primer ejercicio? Ah, ok, Beatriz. Listo. Vale, no, pero bien, pues igual, de hecho hicimos bien el ejercicio porque ustedes hicieron como la conversación y ya con esa información simplemente confirmamos evidentemente que, pues cuáles eran las respuestas. Importante siempre acá con las los condicionales, tener en cuenta en qué lugar, en qué parte de la oración tenemos o está ubicada precisamente esa condición. Luego de que encontremos esa condición, pues allí nosotros vamos a poder tener la posibilidad de verificar pues el resultado de esa situación y obviamente digamos que esa gramática de futuro. ¿Listo? Quiero que para que reforcemos y continuemos digamos que viendo esa parte de gramática, hagamos acá un ejercicio simplemente de observar. Nuevamente yo soy muy de que en inglés la práctica y la repetición seguramente es la que nos ayuda. Vamos a ver acá de pronto nuevamente una parte de la explicación con ejemplos que nos pueden recordar y como ir adquiriendo esa regla, esa norma, que es la que definitivamente pues seguimos siempre en un ejercicio como estos. So, the idea with this video, this other video, is to revise again the grammar of the first conditional. Miren que ustedes tienen, bueno, más o menos un poco como en el proyecto colaborativo, situaciones como estas. Si bien es cierto, allí ustedes están usando una situación imaginaria, que es, si tuviéramos tantos dólares, ¿qué haríamos con ese dinero? ¿Qué invento, qué innovación sugeriríamos? Entonces, en algunos casos, allí de pronto podríamos hacer uso de esta gramática. Claro, acá va más hacia un condicional 2, un second conditional, que es el que nos habla precisamente de situaciones irreales, situaciones imaginarias, que es lo que ustedes están allí resaltando. Pero nos permite simplemente esta información ubicarnos en la idea de que cuando tenemos una condición, pues vamos a tener dos oraciones, dos partes, allí les llaman two clauses, que son the condition with if and the result. In this case, for the first conditional, we have present simple and future. Let's watch this video in order to revise again the grammar of the first conditional, okay? Once again, guys, please, I will appreciate if you tell me if you can listen to the audio. Let's see. Are you listening to the audio, guys?
Yes, teacher.
Thank you. Pretty good. Thank you so much.
If you throw a ball in the air, it falls back down. If you pour water onto a fire, it gets put out. These are sentences that are called conditional sentences. These particular sentences are zero conditionals. Let's look at another type of conditional sentence. First conditionals. First conditionals are used to explain about conditions that have a real possibility of happening in the future. It's not 100% sure, but there is a big chance that it will happen. Let's look at an example. If I study hard, I'll pass the test. Is there a chance for me to pass the test if I study hard? Yes. Can this happen? Yes. Does it mean my passing is 100% guaranteed? No. But the test is a very likely thing that can happen.
Oh my God. Let me go a little back. Okay, so let's see. Yes, once again, they are happy about something that can be true, that can happen, that is a possibility, is probable to happen. And this is also a possibility and a probability because notice that we are using future with will. Remember that when using will is because we are not sure, but maybe there is a possibility for the situation to happen. Let's observe here. We have the condition again with the present simple. If I study hard, comma, I'll pass the test. You have here the contraction of will. So instead of, en vez de decir I will, instead of saying will, you can use the contraction, I'll pass the test. Y si recuerdan un poco el último video que veíamos, que era sobre la gramática, that's grammar important. Recuerden que lo que hicimos allí fue verificar evidentemente que hay situaciones en ese inglés quizás informal, en ese inglés hablado, donde el usar las contracciones nos permite acortar el discurso, pues para hacer como un inglés, bueno, una situación como más fluida, más rápida, donde pues nos evitemos de pronto estructuras largas. ¿Qué tenemos entonces acá? Una contracción de ese futuro. Y suena también. Es decir, when you talk and when you write, you have to pronounce when speaking the contraction. So you say, if I study hard, I'll pass the test. I'll pass the test. So you are emphasizing also on the contraction here. Remember that you can also write this sentence in the other order. You can say, I'll pass the test if I study hard.
Likely thing that can happen, and that is a first conditional sentence. It has the structure of if plus present tense clause, will present tense clause. Now for another example. So you just woke up and looking outside the window, you see grey clouds. You say to yourself, if it rains, I'll go back to sleep. Or you can also say, I will go back to sleep if it rains. Is this situation possible? Yes. Will this situation happen 100%? No. So that's pretty much what a first conditional is. It's to talk about things that have a high chance of happening. Now, you try and make a first conditional sentence in the comment section below, and we'll see if you're correct.
Okay, writing examples. Eso es lo que vamos a hacer ahorita. So we are going to think about, let me see, superstitions. ¿Son ustedes supersticiosos? Are you superstitious, guys?
No, profe.
Not at all? Okay, well, the other ones? Yes, Miguel, okay. Well, maybe they are just customs that we have in Colombia. And well, maybe they are true, maybe they are not true. But people in Colombia, they are normally looking at those superstitions, okay? So let's see. I want each one of you, I want you to write a superstition in English in the chat. Use the grammar. Vamos a usar esa gramática precisamente del condicional, ¿cierto? Entonces, por ejemplo, si tú ves un gato negro, yes, if you see a black cat, ¿cuál puede ser como lo complementé allí, chicos? ¿Qué pasa si uno ve un gato negro?
Tiene mala suerte.
Ok, sí, eso es como el dicho, ¿no? Entonces, you will have bad luck. ¿Listo? Lo que quiero es que tratemos de dar como ejemplos usando la estructura del primer condicional. Seguramente hay otra manera de decirlo, pero vamos a tratar de seguir esa condición y ese resultado. If you see a black cat, you will have bad luck. ¿Sí? Simplemente tratemos de dar ejemplos allí, algunas supersticiones que sean comunes, que sean frecuentes acá en otros países, porque no las de nosotros son iguales a las supersticiones que tienen en otros lados y de la misma forma, ¿no? Entonces vamos a revisar, simplemente quiero que participemos, que usemos el chat y escribamos allí esas supersticiones que de pronto tenemos. ¿Listo? Les doy unos segunditos para que las puedan pensar y pues bueno, ya verificamos esas ideas que ustedes tienen allí también.
If you go under later, you have bad luck.
Okay, excellent, Miss. Thank you. Pretty good. Thank you, Beatriz. I appreciate that. So that's something that is very common for all of the people. So when you see a ladder, you don't walk down that one. Pretty good. Thank you, Beatriz. Miguel, we are writing superstitions. I want you to write one example of a superstition. Y yo les escribía por aquí una, Miguel. ¿Listo? If you see a black cat, you will have bad luck. So just try to think about examples of superstitions that people have, okay? So go ahead. Okay, there is a nice one here. Sherilyn, if you break a mirror, you will have 7 years of bad luck. Yes, oh my God. When I was a child, I thought that it was real and I was still really scared. Very good, Sherilyn, thank you. Tell me, Beatriz.
If you get up with the left or left foot?
Left,
No,
left
foot.
Exactly.
You have bad luck.
Okay, yes, my God. Can you imagine when getting up, thinking about if you stand or step on the left or the right? Really good. Thank you, Beatriz. That's great. The other ones. So I'm waiting maybe for other examples here. So the other ones, Otto, can you tell us an example of a superstition that people have in Colombia or something like that?
Well, I'm not sure because I'm not a superstition person, but I'm not sure. Probably what Mom said about if you eat something, then you couldn't get into a swimming pool. Probably, I'm not sure.
Okay, well. Thank you, Otto. Yes. Well, maybe, as you said, maybe this is not a superstition, but it's like a suggestion and a recommendation that moms always have. Pretty good. So if you eat something, you will have to wait. You will have future to wait before entering the swimming pool. Pretty good. Thank you. That's it. Let me see. Miguel, the black cat is considered an anonymous symbol, ominous symbol since it is often associated with wishes and black magic. All right. Pablo, if you found a clover of 4 leaves, you will have good luck. Okay, Pablo, you need present. If you find, listo, el verbo en presente, remember. If you find is the correct one. Very good, Pablo. Thank you. All right, Beatriz, go ahead, please.
At Thursday day, the Thursday the 30 Thursday. No. Thursday day 30 is bad luck.
Okay, yes, people think that it's maybe bad luck. And this is very common. There are many like news around that and advertisements over there. So we can also see that on TV. Pretty good. Thank you. Well, so I really appreciate those who are, well, participating and giving us over here some examples. Let me see. I'm just going to conclude this part of the practice of the first conditional with maybe a short presentation also about the superstitions, right? We have over here the combination of the first conditional with some British superstitions. As I already said, maybe we don't have this in Colombia. This is just a custom from there, but well, this is the idea, just to take a look to other customs. Notice over here we have what Beatriz was telling us, Happy Friday, the 13th, pretty good. Let's see, we have here the black cat. So let's check. What do you think, guys? You will have bad luck if a black cat crosses your path? Is that a superstition that they have? Maybe, well, maybe not emphasize on false and true, but let's simply revise the examples, okay? Let's see this other one. And I want you also to emphasize on the grammar, okay? Miguel says that is true. Yes, we think that is true also. But if you break a mirror, You will have 7 years of bad luck. That was something somebody wrote also in the chat, yes?
True.
Okay, thank you.
It's true.
Okay, yeah, true. So that's a custom they have also. And probably we will have bad luck, but only if you are superstitious. That's what many of you were telling me. Good. If you put your shoes on the table, it would bring you bad luck. What do you think about this one? Okay, Miguel says false.
False.
All right, thank you. So let's see. Yes. Okay, so you'd better keep your shoes off the furniture, especially if they are new and not just because they are dirty. All right, good. So this is not the superstition, but we have the grammar right here. Good. If you walk, there was a Beatriz, I think she said this one. Under a ladder, you will have bad luck.
It's true.
Okay.
True.
Okay, thank you. So for us in Colombia, this is true. And for them in Britain, it is also true, especially if the fact hits you, such as the one that is happening here. Good. If you find a 3-leaf clover, it will bring you luck. Okay. Miguel says true over here.
True.
All right, well, that's something we think. Okay, for us it's true, but for them not, okay? So they said that, okay, miren acá. No es a 3-leaf clover, but a 4-leaf. Very good. We didn't read correctly, yes? So a 4-leaf clover. It will bring you good luck. That's what they say, yes? And to finish with, let's see this last one. If you spill salt, you will have good luck.
True.
True. Okay, true, says
It's
Miguel.
true.
All right, let's see. Ouch. Well, for them, it's false. Yes, it will bring you, okay, not good luck, but bad luck. So if you spill salt, you must throw some over your shoulder to counteract the bad luck. Superstitions, ¿ok? Muy bien, chicos. Pues bueno, la idea obviamente es tener ejercicios de conversación, como les decía al comienzo, simplemente situaciones que nos permitan de pronto interactuar, revisar alguna especie de pronto de gramática, pero obviamente tener esta posibilidad de, pues, de conversar, ¿cierto? De tener una excusa con la cual, pues, digamos de pronto algunas oraciones, hagamos algún ejercicio de práctica, pues, precisamente de la gramática. ¿Listo? Bueno, pues eso sería todo por hoy, estimados estudiantes. Recuerden, pues, obviamente revisar la gramática que tenemos allí. Y bueno, no sé si hay alguna pregunta antes de pronto de finalizar.
Profe, yo tengo una pregunta.
¿Quién me habla por acá? ¿Pablo?
Miguel.
Miguel, hola Miguel, dime.
Hola, profe. Profe, una pregunta respecto al proyecto. ¿El invento tiene que ser como algo material o puede ser un tema como también de servicio?
También puede ser un tema de servicio, algo que tú consideres que sea innovador para, pues, para tu campo profesional.
Ok, teacher, gracias.
Ok. Listo. Espérame ahora aquí el chat. Sí, Andrea, Beatriz. Ajá, sí, ese LOL es como ups, sí, como una expresión de risa. Y pues funciona más como de esa manera escrita. Entonces es muy común en el chat, que en el WhatsApp, en este tipo de pronto historietas, es muy común allí. Bien, Beatriz. Por acá había alguien con la mano alzada. Ana María.
Buenas noches, profe. Profe, es que yo te quería, bueno, eran dos cositas. Una es que la vez pasada nos reunimos con otras personas en el grupo y yo aparezco en el grupo, o sea, como te digo, me toca trasladarme de grupo, ¿me hago entender?
O sea, hiciste una elección que no era.
Es que te acuerdas que la clase pasada yo fui la que te dije, como profe, no tengo grupo, no conozco a nadie y me adoptó otra compañerita.
Sí, ¿y qué pasó?
Entonces,
¿La otra
yo
compañera no se
empecé.
inscribió o qué pasó?
Sí, no, yo estoy trabajando con ellas, sino que yo ya me había inscrito a un grupo y como tú reubicaste los grupos, pues yo ya no podía eliminar mi elección.
Ok. Sí, pero yo no, o sea, si tú ya habías hecho una elección, tenías que haberme dicho para poderte borrar, porque como yo lo único que hice fue colocar en grupos a los que no estaban en un grupo, ¿sí? ¿Y cuál habías elegido tú?
Yo estoy ahorita en el B y estoy trabajando con las dos chicas del H.
Ana María Benavides.
Sí, señora.
Entonces, Ana María, lo que puedo hacer, porque no puedo quitar gente ya de los grupos, precisamente porque no sé quiénes hicieron su libre elección, ya lo que hice, como te digo, es simplemente, yo lo que hice fue agregar y quitar. Me dices que estás con las chicas del H, ¿sí?
Sí, con Ana y con Mónica.
Listo, ahí quedarían trabajando con otro compañero que apareció allí, que es Eric Sebastián Hernández, porque pues como te digo, pues no puedo quitarlos de esa manera. Entonces, Ana María Benavides, ya te dejé en el grupo con ellos, estarían los 4 para trabajar, ¿listo?
Ah, ok, profe.
Vale.
Y otra cosita, nosotros queríamos comentarte sobre el proyecto, bueno, el invento. No sé qué tan viable sea. Nosotros estábamos pensando en una aplicación en donde, pues es que dice que debemos irnos por el campo laboral, ¿no? O sea, como administrativo. Nosotros estábamos pensando en una aplicación que, espérame, dame un segundito. Ok, una aplicación en donde nos dé como tips o nosotros, mejor dicho, como te digo, es como que cumpla con la imagen de la persona que va a ir a trabajar. Entonces, digamos, le arme toda la pinta, le diga como que le queda bien de acuerdo a lo que tiene en su closet, ¿me hago entender? Entonces, nos iríamos como por esa parte de administración, pero de imagen corporativa, de lo que nosotros, pues de nuestra imagen corporativa, ¿me hago entender?
Sí, sí, Ana María. Pero no te preocupes, sí. Está bien, me gusta, es una idea interesante. Pero sí, claro que sí. La idea es obviamente describir bien en detalle en qué consiste, cómo es, cómo funciona, por qué es innovador. Claro que sí, Ana María.
Ok, listo, profe. Muchas gracias.
Bueno. Listo, chicos. Entonces, bueno, recordarles que nuestras grabaciones quedan allí disponibles. Ya acabo de registrar también la asistencia, que es la que exporto directamente acá de la plataforma de nuestro encuentro en Teams. Y nos veríamos entonces, bueno, pues la siguiente sesión, chicos. Que tengan todos una feliz noche. Gracias por su asistencia, su participación. Bye, bye. Have a good night.
Bye, bye, teacher.
All right. Bye. Thank you.
Bye, bye, teacher.
Bye, teacher.
Bye.
Thank
Sleep
you.
well. Bye. Thank you.